Why are the people that she's not gonna do that? Let her cook. I want to know what.
Rumors are exploding about Caitlin Clark possibly taking her game to Europe, throwing ESPN into utter confusion. It now appears Caitlin might actually make the move overseas, and suddenly ESPN seems to realize they may have mishandled her coverage throughout the entire season. In the past, ESPN was infamous for underestimating and overlooking Caitlin Clark's extraordinary talent. They repeatedly failed to give her the recognition she rightfully deserved, yet now they behave as if they alone have the power to decide whether Caitlin even travels to Europe.
Okay, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their intention, and they're not as talented, and we're not putting the...
In a surprising turn of events, ESPN analyst Molly Combs seemed to almost ignore Caitlin Clark's phenomenal season, implying her influence on the sport was somehow trivial. How could anyone make such a statement without being amazed by her brilliance? Caitlin Clark didn't just transform the game, she ignited widespread conversations and brought an entirely fresh wave of energy, excitement, and attention to women's basketball.
Versus Caitlin Clark, and that is just absolutely false. It is unfair to the women that have been there building this league to this moment so that Caitlin Clark's popularity...
Amid growing debates, another ESPN analyst completely brushed off the notion that Caitlin Clark was being unfairly targeted by opponents. Even though she was the most fouled player throughout the season, and even suffered a black eye at one point, her challenges were largely minimized. Hopefully, Caitlin can use this break to pursue exciting opportunities in Europe, crafting a scenario that perfectly aligns with her long-term career goals while leaving both ESPN and the Wnba scrambling to respond.
We're not saying we were making the basketball.
No, Andrea, I'm not going to let you do that.
Go ahead,
Andrea, I'm not going to let you make it seem like Caitlin Clark was averaging 5 points a game. At the time, she was still averaging 16 points a game, which was more than a lot of other guards that made the team. So don't do that. Don't make it seem like she was averaging 5 points and this was like...
Caitlin Clark's undeniable influence seems to be more than ESPN and its analysts can handle, especially as rumors swirl that she may take her talents to Europe instead of remaining in the WNBA. All season long, ESPN has repeatedly downplayed her achievements, giving others the spotlight while undervaluing her extraordinary performances. Now, they face the very real possibility that the player they have consistently overlooked could leave the American stage and shine brilliantly overseas. It's no surprise they're panicking, fully aware that losing Caitlin would deliver a significant blow to both their viewership and overall content strategy.
It was felt every place she goes, every arena she goes. TV, ratings.
Throughout the season, ESPN has repeatedly overlooked Caitlin Clark's phenomenal talent, constantly comparing her to Angel Ree, another rising star in women's basketball. From day one, the network pushed the narrative that Angel was outperforming Caitlin, while Caitlin, despite her undeniable brilliance, was portrayed as falling short of the massive expectations following her record-breaking college career at Iowa. Analysts like Molly Combs and Monica McNutt fanned the debate, questioning Caitlin's place among the league's elite and keeping the comparisons alive. Many fans argued she wasn't receiving the recognition she deserved and that highlighting another player shouldn't diminish her accomplishments, yet the criticism often felt deliberate, as if ESPN had made it their mission to keep Caitlin in the shadows instead of celebrating her groundbreaking contributions to the sport. Now, karma seems to be catching up. The network is suddenly panicking at the idea that if Caitlin Clark heads to Europe, they could lose control over the conversation about her entirely. The very player they spent the season undermining, claiming she wasn't a true star and only valuable for drawing viewers, might take her massive fan base overseas. ESPN had framed Caitlin as a product of media hype rather than a legitimate on-court force, yet with her potential departure looming, they are scrambling to rewrite the narrative. They are finally realizing that Caitlin is far more than just a player, she is at the center of discussions, storylines, and the culture surrounding the sport itself. The prospect of Caitlin Clark heading to Europe threatens to shake not only ESPN's programming but also the entire WNBA, both of which have leaned heavily on her star power to drive viewership and fan engagement. Opinions are clearly evolving, with some calling for greater transparency in WNBA voting, insisting that fans should know who casts critical ballots, just like in the NBA. Throughout the season, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe were among the few voices consistently defending Caitlin, highlighting her undeniable talent and emphasizing the massive impact she has on the court. They pointed out that Caitlin faced unfair targeting from both ESPN and rival players, largely because of her rookie status and the enormous attention she attracted in college. Despite this support, harsh criticism from analysts like Molly Combs and Monica McNutt persisted, highlighting the ongoing tension between Caitlyn's undeniable achievements and the network's continued skepticism. Caitlin Clark quickly became the focus of scrutiny from both ESPN analysts and rival WNBA players, who saw her as the flashy new rookie in need of humility. Yet, despite constant criticism and relentless targeting, Caitlin rose above the noise, delivering one of the most extraordinary rookie seasons in WNBA history. Her elite-level performance and unwavering determination helped transform the Indiana Fever, guiding them to their first postseason appearance in years and cementing her status among the league's brightest young stars. With 2 established All-Stars already in the starting lineup and the reigning Rookie of the Year on her side, Caitlyn's influence was undeniable. She didn't just survive her freshman season, she thrived, delivering spectacular performances that left even her toughest critics speechless. Week after week, Caitlin Clark delivered under immense pressure, her composure and brilliance on the court nothing short of breathtaking. She lifted a team many had already written off, showcasing both her leadership and unparalleled talent. Statistically, her performance was exceptional, averaging around 20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds, and despite 5.6 turnovers, her influence on the game remained undeniable. Yet, despite these remarkable achievements, ESPN clung to their narrative until the very end of the season, only acknowledging Caitlyn's dominance once it became impossible to ignore. Suddenly, they began praising her brilliance, as if they had been advocates of her talent all along, a dramatic reversal that bordered on almost comical. Meanwhile, Caitlyn continued to blaze through the league like a force of nature, leaving critics and doubters far behind. Caitlin Clark never needed ESPN's approval to prove her greatness. Coming off a season where she was expected to struggle, constantly singled out by both players and commentators as not ready for the spotlight, she shattered every expectation. Despite relentless criticism and targeted opposition, Caitlin emerged as the standout rookie of her class, dominating in ways no one anticipated. Considering the immense pressure and scrutiny she has faced from the league and ESPN alike, it's entirely reasonable that she might consider taking her talents to Europe. Such a move would send a powerful message to both ESPN and the WNBA about what they risk losing by undervaluing one of their brightest stars. Her impact is unmistakable, viewership has surged 400%, ticket sales are up 93%, and regular game ratings have jumped 180%, proving that Caitlin Clark has fueled unprecedented growth for the WNBA. In a matter of just 5 weeks, Caitlin Clark achieved what most players might never reach in 5 years. When it comes to draft viewership and overall league attention, ESPN and the WNBA would bear full responsibility if she decides to take her talents overseas. They had every chance to support one of the league's brightest young stars, yet instead they disparaged her, downplayed her achievements, and attempted to diminish her impact. Caitlyn's electrifying play and magnetic charisma have been a major driver behind the recent surge in viewership. Without her, the league's ratings would almost certainly take a significant hit. Beyond casual viewers, Caitlyn commands a loyal and passionate fan base that follows her wherever she goes. If she relocates to Europe, many of her fans are likely to follow, leaving the WNBA scrambling to maintain the momentum it has worked so hard to build. The record-breaking viewership for the WNBA Finals speaks volumes, and much of it can be directly attributed to Caitlin Clark's influence. Her impact on the league has been undeniable, generating attention and excitement wherever she plays. If Caitlin were to leave, the consequences would extend far beyond the WNBA itself. ESPN would feel the effects just as sharply. The network thrives on covering high-profile athletes, and Caitlin has been one of the most talked-about players all season long. Even when her achievements were occasionally downplayed or criticized, there is no denying that she has dominated conversations, making her presence impossible to ignore across the sport. Suddenly, they began praising her brilliance, as if they had been advocates of her talent all along, a dramatic reversal that bordered on almost comical. Meanwhile, Caitlin continued to blaze through the league like a force of nature, leaving critics and doubters far behind. Caitlin Clark never needed ESPN's approval to prove her greatness. Coming off a season where she was expected to struggle, constantly singled out by both players and commentators as not ready for the spotlight, she shattered every expectation. Despite relentless criticism and targeted opposition, Caitlin emerged as the standout rookie of her class, dominating in ways no one anticipated. Considering the immense pressure and scrutiny she has faced from the league and ESPN alike, it's entirely reasonable that she might consider taking her talents to Europe. Such a move would send a powerful message to both ESPN and the WNBA about what they risk losing by undervaluing one of their brightest stars. Her impact is unmistakable. Viewership has surged 400%, ticket sales are up 93%.